Oh boy, you guys. So, do I have a podcast for you? Trigger warning, just in case I'm letting you know there may be some triggers, and I may be challenging some of your beliefs that people have been talking about over and over and over again, and I'm just going to come out and share it. In fact, I've been really scared to talk about this because it's an unpopular opinion, and I am a coach. Now I'm also a consultant, but oh boy, it is something that needs to be talked about. So I'm just gonna dive in. I've been wanting to talk about it for quite some time, but I've just been scared. And right before I push play, I was pretty scared. And you know how I say fear is usually a guiding point. So here it goes. First of all, I was a coach the past 2 years in my business. I was a business coach. I loved it. I had a lot of great clients, and I also had a lot of marketing and practical sales and business experience already underway. So just to preface this podcast with that. So first of all, what I really don't like is when coaches project their skills and abilities onto their clients. So say what worked for you is what you're teaching. Great. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, great. But if you're always projecting yourself into your clients, that's not good because everybody is different. So say what worked for you is doing podcast, and then you got a ton of money and a ton of clients. But that's all you teach, and then your clients come to you and you're like, well, do this and do this and do this and do this. And let's say you're working one-on-one where it's more of you're more invested in to help them, and you can tell it's not working for them. This is where I don't align with the coaching industry, because a lot of coaches won't tell the person that, hey, it's not working for you. Maybe you should do something else. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? Instead of just hammering down their throats what worked for them, and so it should work for your client. So keep that in mind. And also, when you're a coach and you're teaching, oh, this worked for me, now go do it this, this is easy, it should be easy for you, it should be easy. That's one of the key things I'm going to be talking about, is you're missing what is easy for your client. What if it's writing more than video? Maybe it's podcasting. It's really tuning into the differences in humans, differences in your clients, and not teaching just one way. So there's so many different factors. If you've learned about some of these different things, there's astrology, human design, personality, just understanding work ethic, understanding their background, where are they coming from? Do they have sales experience? Do they have marketing experience already? Which I'm going to touch on even more. But do they? Are they actually good at these things? So that leads into my next thing, is that we only show the good. And I'm going to admit right now that I've definitely done some of that, where I showed a lot of the good. Good. I got a 20K client. I got a 5K client. Woo. I just started. 2 months in, I got a 5K client. Not gonna lie, I definitely did that right at the beginning of my coaching business. And guess what? What you don't know is how I got there was I went through college in business marketing. And then I also, through college, I worked in sales. So yes, I went right into it, but I worked my ass off. I took courses, I invested in myself, and then that's what happened, was because of all the years of work that I went into it. It wasn't just like a snap your fingers and bam, I made some success. It was so much work behind the scenes. So we just gotta share a little bit more of the practical, a little bit more of what really goes behind the scenes, what really is, the hard work, and not just easy, because it's not all easy. Am I right? Like, who here knows that, yes, sometimes it's easy, but how much work did you have to do to get there to make it easy? And I just know a lot of coaches don't talk about it. Like, they're like, oh, I had a 20K month. I had a 30K month. I had $304,000 month. Okay, how many years were you working up to that? How many businesses did you grow leading up to that? Or another thing is $304,000 in sales, or let's just say 10K in sales. How is that paid in full? Is that cash in the bank now? Or is that, oh, I made 10K for the year, but then some people may not make their payments. Maybe it's for 2 to 6 months. So, that's a lot less per month, but they're like, ooh, I made all this money. But then what happens on those lower months? Like, you spent all this time and energy towards that month. You spent 2-3 months for this launch, and then, okay, how long does that money last? How many of those people don't make their payments? How much of that was spent in ads? Yes. How much of it was spent in coaches? So I see a lot of people, and I always have this thought, like, they're like, oh, I made 6 figures, but then I know for a fact that they've spent money on a lot of coaches, and a lot of the coaches cost a lot of money. So I'm like, how much did you spend on coaches? How much did you spend on ads? How much did you spend on learning courses? So a lot of people, they're just saying the revenue. They're not talking about the profit. How many people do you see, I profited $10,000. I profited 6 figures. Like, I love a couple of the coaches that they're like, okay, I made 20K, but 5K went towards affiliates, and 5K went towards ad spend, and then 1,000 went to a coach or something like that. So you actually profited, what is that, like $9,000? Yeah, so but they don't say that. They're like, oh, I just had such a great launch, oh, this and this. So we really got to talk about, and not just talk about, show some of the harder things, show some of the difficulties, so you don't just attract clients that are expecting to not do any work. I'm going to say right then, I've attracted some clients based on my marketing, yes, my marketing, that they were just like, manifest my clients, where they don't have marketing and sales skills, and they're expecting to manifest clients and keep it consistent and grow a business because they're brainwashed, and they don't understand sales, and they don't understand marketing, and they just keep putting inspirational content out there and getting likes. Fabulous. But are you making sales? Are you making a difference? Are you actually qualified in doing this work? So that goes on to the next one, is you got to have credibility and experience, and you got to know sales. So that's the other one, is you have to know sales in a business. You have to understand it. You have to have some type of plan to bring it in and to keep it consistent, because building a business is not easy. I'm sorry, it's not. There's so much different work that goes on behind the scenes, and sales is one of them. And a big part of my success in my first and second year in business was that I had 2.5 years of really good dive in deep, get on the phones. I probably took like tens, maybe even hundreds, I don't know, I'd have to calculate it, but at least tens of thousands of sales calls. And then I got trained, and I got so much knowledge, and then I practiced that, and then I used it. So some of my clients, you teach them all the skills, you teach, but they don't realize that you have to practice it, not just once, not twice, not 10 times. You gotta jump on those calls. You gotta jump and practice sales to grow a business, especially if you want it consistent. So sales definitely needs to be talked about more. And this may drop some trigger, or people are not going to align with this, whatever, because I'm all about the spiritual side, the energy side, the practical side, all of it. I understand both, and I think you need the energetic and the manifesting and the practical action to build anything. And so there's too much emphasis on manifesting, and I think it's really messing with people's minds, where you're like, oh, you just have to align more. oh, you just have to align more. You got to go manifest your clients. And then, you know, you go along the line and then you get a client a month later, okay? You aligned and you got a client a month later and you're like, oh, I got it. It worked. It worked. My manifesting worked, okay? But then you hold on to that like that's the only way to do it. Instead of, oh, what worked and what can I improve on and how do I make it more consistent? How do I make it more of a plan that can continue to work for me where I don't have to wait a month or two to get that client? How do I make a plan and take more calls and get more leads so I'm not waiting in between? Does that make sense? And a lot of it is ad spend, marketing, getting out there over and over and over. You got to have a balance of both. I'm sorry, but you cannot manifest your taxes being done. You can't sit on your butt and be like, oh, manifested my taxes being done. Oh, they're done. No, no. What you can do is you sit there and you're like, ooh, it's going to be feeling so good that I got my taxes done and I'm excited. And then you're feeling good, okay? You're feeling good. And then maybe something pops up on your screen or you're scrolling or an idea and you're like, ooh, I have a friend that can do my taxes, okay? Ding, ding, ding. And then you take action to get your taxes done. You go pay that person or you get up off of your ass and you go do it. So yes, I believe in manifesting. Yes, I believe in an alignment, but I believe in action as well. You have to do both. You have to. And as you can tell, this has been kind of holding in for a while. It's probably why you guys haven't seen me online as much, because I just had a lot of struggle with continuing this coaching business in a way that I'm taking on clients that can't do it. They are brainwashed and they think that because people are saying it's so easy that it should be easy for them. And because they were convinced that you manifest these big lump sums coming from the bottom, which you can, but there's a lot to go in between. Okay? So having $10,000 months, there's a lot of work that has to be done. There's taxes, there's bookkeeping, there's also the work to manage and do. So you gotta make sure your skills build up to that level as well. You gotta make sure to grow at the level that you're charging and growing and teaching. Make sure you're adept to teach that level. Okay? Okay. Another one. This is for all the coaches that they've been doing it for several years and they're like, oh my gosh, it's now so easy. It's just so easy. Yay. I manifested this, I manifested this, I manifested this, I manifested this. It kind of goes with what I talked about earlier, but it's consistency. It's a snowball effect. I can even notice it now is because I've been online for 2 years, there's more people watching my live videos, there's more people listening to my podcast, there's more people when I talk about business that remember me. So it's not just an overnight thing. It's not just instant. It's consistency. It takes time. The first year is going to be these ups and downs, and over time you're going to get used to it and you're going to get more comfortable and you're going to make smarter decisions and you're going to fail a lot. You're going to fail a lot, and they're just lessons to grow. And that's why I had to do this podcast, is because I just want to share a lot of the lessons that I learned. And this isn't supposed to be negative. It's just supposed to be helping people understand and be aware to not fall into the trap of investing too much or being pushed into things or putting too much emphasis on manifesting and being mad at yourself and, oh, I just wasn't in alignment enough. All right, so here's another thing I'd like to talk about is I even did this. And I'm going to tell the good and the bad about this, is getting a clear target audience is very important, because for one reason, it's you don't want to take on a client that you can't handle, so it's good to actually get clear on what you're good at helping with, so you attract the right people and you don't get over, in over your head, Okay, so that really is good for like health and this and that. And it's also good to share like specifics, okay? Like speaking to one person in your content and they will just feel you and you'll attract the right person. Great, okay? So you're like mom that's struggling with intimacy that is has kids, okay? Great. And that this and this and this and this, okay? It's super specific, and then those people are drawn to your content. Great, great. But then if you're at the beginning of your business and you're only going to take on those clients and you're just starting and you only have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 followers, and you're like a business mom that's married and has 2 kids and struggling in this, and you're only taking on those people, you're gonna have to grow your following, and you're gonna have to spend money on advertising or show up every flippin' day to attract those people, because you're taking a smaller percentage of your followers, a smaller. So instead, you get specific and you share, and you get specific in the problems you solve and the people you help, but you make sure that you will take on, let's just use that example, you'll take on somebody that's maybe in a relationship and not a mom, that's struggling in all those areas that you can help. Why would you say no to that money? Why would you say no to helping that person? So make sure you have a larger net, and then especially as you're growing, but then as you get a huge following, of course you gotta have these more specific niches, okay? And don't say no to helping people. Like, that's one thing that I did at the beginning, is I got so specific, and then I got this client, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I wanted. But then there was time in between because I was being too specific. Whereas what if I got really specific, I got that client, and then, you know, I keep throwing out bigger nets and get specific and get excited about those different types of clients. Does that make sense? So that's my tip of the day. All right. And I think we're wrapping up. Man, I was excited. I couldn't find my notes that I wrote earlier on, but I'm really glad I've just kind of been riffing about it. Let me know what you think. You know, tag a friend that needs to hear this. Share it in your Instagram or, you know, below. I'd love to hear. And let's see. I'm just going to see what I might be missing. Oh, did I already cover this? I think I kind of did a little bit, but building a business is not for everyone. So convincing that every single person can do this and support themselves is incorrect, because there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of insecurity that comes up, there's a lot of crap that comes up, and you don't want to convince somebody to go all in when they have to provide for a family, and the scarcity kills them, that kills their momentum, it kills their drive. You convince them to invest $10,000 into your business, $5,000 into their business, and they can't work because they have a family to prepare for and give to. Like, you don't want to, you got to make sure to not put these clients in over their head. You got to make sure that they can handle it. And for me, I'm not a one price fits all. Why? Because I don't want to, I am a high level coach, but I want to help as many people as I can, and I'm still growing, so I can do that. And I'm not going to put somebody in a place that they're not going to be able to be productive and they're not going to be able to succeed. I want to make sure that they are well equipped to be successful and achieve. And I know that some people are not able to work in that scarcity mode, where other people, they like that kick in the ass and they go for it and they make it faster. Yes, but you have to differentiate, because again, people are different. So that's one of my last things, is to just have those 3 options on price. You're losing a lot of clients. To have your high ticket and then your middle ticket and then your small ticket, and then you're just like, that's it. Great if you have enough clients, okay? But if you don't have enough clients and you want more one-on-one and you have this price and you're just like, oh, that's it. That's all it is. I want to challenge you to be Like, say your price is pretty high and you got 10 leads and you made one sale. What if 5 of those were interested in working with you? Instead of making one price, what if you figure out a price that can work with those 5 or 6 of them? Make sure you're feeling good about it, in alignment, excited to help them. They're the right clients, but give them options. Because there's some coaches out there that I want to work with. I really do. I'll follow them and I'll get the free content, but because their price is so high, I will probably never work with them. But if they were to be like, okay, what can you do? And then morph a plan around me. Let's say if they actually want clients, okay? Then that would be a good idea. If they're like already good, they're already flying high, they already make tons of money, then yeah, of course charge a high ticket. Supply versus demand. But a lot of the coaches teach, charge high ticket and then never help anybody else. Charge high ticket. You manifest those high ticket clients and don't ever help anybody else. Like, they don't know your value. And I just don't agree with that, especially when you're starting at the beginning of a business. You want to give. You want to give it all. You want to help people thoroughly and they will continue to come back. If you think long term, they will come back over and over and over again instead of draining their pockets one time and then they never are able to invest again because you drain their pockets. And now they don't want to send a referral because they can't keep up with it. Whereas if you maybe charge a lower price and you gave up their all, they're able to invest in you again and give you 5 referrals. So just kind of open your mind on that as well. So those are the things that have really bothered me in the coaching industry. It's why I'm really focusing more on clients that are real business owners, brick and mortar, bars, restaurants, pole fitness studios, business owners that are ready for themselves to really invest in their business and use real marketing skills to grow. And I think I'm going to start going into more like conscious business owners where they really want to grow and align with their business, but it's still a real business. And honestly, some of my past clients have been really awesome and they've been kick-ass and they've invested in themselves and they did the work and they got the results and I love them. And I'm still open to coaching and consulting. But yeah, that is what I wanted to share, and oh boy, it feels good. So let me know what you think, good and bad. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please give me a like and a share, and I'd love to hear what you think about this, so thank you so much. Go ahead and check me out. I'm on levelupwithtia.com. And if you guys have any questions with working with me or a free, I do a free consulting session. I just take a look at what you're doing in your marketing, what you're doing in your life, what you want to create, and see if we're a good fit. I am only taking certain level clients, but sometimes I could just give you some tips to lead you on your way and connect with other like-minded business owners. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day.